So, if you guys are unaware, Vogue has actually been hosting Zoom calls, and it's actually under the name Vogue Conversations, and they've had many different topics and they invite many different guests. So today's video, I kind of wanted to respond to one of the videos I watched, and the topic of that video was about the future of fashion shows. And on this conversation, there was a Vogue editor, there was Cedric, the CEO of Balenciaga, there was Olivier Rousteing, that's the guy at Balmain, and then there was also the creative director of Chloé, all talking about the future of Fashion Week, if Fashion Week is relevant. If you guys want to actually watch the video, I think it's a really good thing to watch. I'll leave the link to that in the description below. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first argument that was made in this video that I just really did not agree with was the environmental side. Now, I've heard a lot of people say over the years that one of the things they don't like about Fashion Week is the carbon footprint that Fashion Week has. So what they mean by this is all these journalists travel between New York to London to France to Italy, and them going on the planes as a carbon footprint that they have, and this leads to emissions that over time leads to obviously pollution. And where, yes, emissions, pollution, all of that is real, that all makes sense. However, these journalists are going on flights that if they didn't go on the flight, if Fashion Week didn't happen, those same flights would still fly out anyway. There being no Fashion Week, or there being Fashion Week, as bad as like the carbon footprint of just planes in general is bad, Fashion Week doesn't actually change anything to do with the carbon footprint in terms of travel. I think to me, the environmental issue with fashion is actually overconsumption. I think that's what people should focus on, and that's what people should be more worried about. The fact is, we produce way more clothes than we need, and it's something I don't like. It's something that, as someone that is into fashion, I say I like sustainability and I agree with sustainability, but that's to a point. There are many brands who will lie to you and tell you that they're sustainable, but to me, if you really, like some of these brands claim that they love sustainability. To me, if you really cared about sustainability, you wouldn't even make clothes in the first place, because there are already enough clothes in this world. So by you making another brand, literally, you're a hypocrite. Because if you care about sustainability, you would realize that there's too many clothes produced now anyway, so you wouldn't make more clothes and add to the problem and make it with organic fabric and say you're about sustainability. And for me, I think that whole argument about the carbon footprint of Fashion Week is actually so flawed. I think, yes, the fashion industry is very, very problematic, but we should look more to the overconsumption. We should look more to fast fashion brands that are pumping out millions of low quality garments, because another thing about sustainability is things are more sustainably made if they are high quality, because something that's high quality will last longer and therefore not go to a landfill very quickly. Something that's made in an extremely cheap way will literally in 10 washes disintegrate, and that goes into landfills, and that's what really leads to this quick pollution of the environment. Luxury fashion and high-end fashion, for the most part, obviously not in every single way, is normally well crafted, is made with good materials, is definitely better crafted than fast fashion, and it's made to last. Another thing is, brands that actually are the biggest issue to this problem don't even show at Fashion Week. So like Primark is probably one of the worst brands if we talk about sustainability. Primark doesn't show at Fashion Week. So it's kind of weird. People say Fashion Week should be cancelled when the big environmental issue is not from a few journalists going on a plane that would fly anyway. I think how we could reduce pollution from the fashion industry is not over-consuming. And even in luxury fashion, there's still a problem in terms of quality. Yes, the quality's there, the craftsmanship's there, but there's still a problem with overconsumption in the way that, yes, the quantities of luxury brands is not in the same level as, let's say, a H&M or a Zara. However, even in luxury fashion, there's still overconsumption. I think fast fashion, we should just end that. Luxury fashion need to bring down the overconsumption. And I know the counter argument now is going to be like, oh, but not everyone's rich. Not everyone can afford luxury fashion. That's the whole point of thrifting. The whole point of sustainability is there's enough clothes in the world, so we should consume the clothes that already exist. So if you really care about sustainability on a budget, you can thrift forever. There's so many things you can find in a thrift store. That argument about people can't afford expensive clothes is really, really flawed. But yeah, back to luxury fashion. If like I ran Fashion Week, which obviously will never happen, but I would only have spring summer collections and fall winter, and that's it. No pre-fall, no cruise, no pre-spring, all these pointless collections that brands don't even spend that much time on, and it's just really just to sell more clothes, really. And it's just the overconsumption of fashion. That's why I really respect designers like Dries Van Noten, who never ever participated in all that over consumerism. There's so many things that can be done that will actually make a change rather than cancel Fashion Week, which literally is just an event. When we talk about processing denim, it takes 1,800 gallons to make kind of like a pair of jeans. Why don't we look into processes and invest in how we can use less water and less resources to make the same amount of denim? How about we look into making high quality denim to where people don't throw away their denim so quickly because it has holes so quickly? Or why don't we look into places where you can repair clothes for a cheap cost, or maybe even for free, funded by, I don't know, an initiative or a charity? These are all things that will actually make a change, not cancelling Fashion Week. Like, Fashion Week does not really contribute to pollution because the main players who pollute the environment don't show at Fashion Week. So if you want to help the environment, shut down fast fashion, shut down people who use excessive amounts of water to process denim. Look into how we can improve our processes. That is what will actually make a difference. And there was something that Nick Knight from Show Studio said about overconsumerism that I really agreed with. Then the second argument was the analytical side of things. So the CEO of Balenciaga, Cedric, in that Vogue conversation, he brought up a few stats and it was quite weird. So he said that Balenciaga has the capacity to house 600 people at a fashion show. And then he said that, however, when they add up all the numbers from like their Instagram views and live streaming and YouTube and all that stuff, it counts to 10 million views. So he's starting to question the relevance of Fashion Week because like 600 people as opposed to 10 million, it's clear that the main audience is digital. And then there's just a select few of people who can actually make it physically to the show. And he was basically trying to say that essentially Fashion Week should move into more of a digital space, which once again I don't agree with. And the reason I don't agree with it is because yes, they might be able to house 600 people, but nothing will change the experience you get of being at a runway show and experiencing the show, the ambiance, and seeing the garments firsthand. There's nothing that will replace that. It's so, like, why do people go for concerts? Why don't people just watch literally someone perform to no one and then watch it on YouTube? If you look at the YouTube comments of every single concert, everyone's like, oh my God, it was so good there. Or people say, I wish I was there. It looked amazing. I wish I was there. It's this aspiration of people imagining them being themselves there. That is actually the main attraction of Fashion Week. It's actually the experience, it's actually the emotion. And once you just absolutely disregard that, the 10 million people that actually view the runway show, if it's just people walking in an empty runway show with no ambiance, people won't even watch it. Because what is there to watch, really? It's just boring. Like, there's no atmosphere. People actually enjoy watching shows because there's an atmosphere and there's an ambiance, and they can sort of imagine themselves experiencing it there and being there. And that's the issue when people look at analytics and look at numbers too much. They actually forget the reason why 10 million people are watching this show. That's the same reason why in America the Super Bowl obviously has more numbers. If you look at how many people watch it worldwide, millions of people watch the Super Bowl. They only have a capacity in a stadium for like maybe 100,000 or a little bit less or more, whatever stadium it is in. Every single person that watches the Super Bowl, they actually would want to be there if they had the opportunity to. So actually, people, their whole love of the Super Bowl and just the atmosphere is how crazy it is, the big name people that go to the Super Bowl. That's what adds to the buzz of the Super Bowl. If you take all of that away, and then the Super Bowl decided we see more viewers watch online than our capacity, you're going to see that people won't even care about the Super Bowl like that, because there's no more atmosphere to the Super Bowl. There's no more ambience. It's just boring. So in conclusion, what I'm saying is fashion as an industry just needs to be reorganized. Fashion Week is not the main problem. If we talk about sustainability and we talk about all these things, Fashion Week is actually not the main issue. The main issue is on the production side. The main issue is fast fashion brands. I'm actually curious to hear your thoughts, because I know a lot of people, their opinions on this topic are always so split. So I'd like to hear what people have to say about just sustainability. Should Fashion Week be cancelled? What you guys think of Fashion Week? And on that note, like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. Follow me on Instagram at Fashion Roadman. And I recently started a Twitter at Fashion Roadman, so just follow me there. And yeah, I'll be back with another video.
Icon Accidental wrote, this will be a seminal moment in fashion, meaning now. The opportunity to regain agency both for designers and consumers is huge. Let's see if they take it. I couldn't agree with you more. It's really changing things. I mean, the fashion system, in my opinion, has been pretty much, I won't say broken, but it doesn't really seem right anymore. You know, the idea that we sort of have this circus of people, that, I don't mean to represent, but you know, a group of people that travel around the world, and we have, you know, such sort of, you know, fashion lasts no time at all, and very just more and more and more and more. It doesn't seem the right way to do it. You know, I know a few designers personally, and the pressure that they're put under, you know, to produce you know, collection after collection after collection, you know, cruise ranges and capsule collections and this, that, and the other. It really isn't how they want to work. But yet the people who pay them want more and more money. You know, enough is enough. You know, some of you big CEOs out there, just try and reevaluate your lives. You know, when you have a certain amount of money, that's enough. You don't need to make more and more and more and more. You don't need to keep exploiting the world's resources. You don't need to keep on making more and more clothes. Make better clothes, yes, but not just more and more volume of them. I dislike the idea that something, because it's popular or because it sells many items, is therefore good. That's not true. That's just because, you know, it's cheap or it's widely accepted. But make great pieces of clothing. You know, encourage your designers to make one collection a year, not 6. Well, how many collections was John doing before we had his mental breakdown?
It's lots, possibly 12.
Yeah, so maybe John Gillard was being pushed to do one collection a month before eventually it got too much for him. You know, doing a collection is a huge amount of work. The research that goes into them, you know, the experimentation with fabric, etc., to get a great piece of clothing worth showing. You know, it isn't true that that designers just sort of do it like that. It's an enormous amount of toll on their creative energies to come up with a collection. If you look at the work of people like Marc Jacobs or Ray Kawakubo, or, you know, any of the great designers, you know, that doesn't just spring out naturally. That's a lot of hard work. And I think you have to take the pressure off and just take it back to a situation where it feels a little bit less about business and just shifting more product, and a bit about something a bit more heartfelt. And I think that goes out right across everything we do. So I do think it's a moment to reevaluate what we're doing. I think we started reevaluating a long time, but the structure of the industry is set up to do these, you know, regular shows, and the structure of business and capitalism is set up to sell more and more product. And I don't think that's healthy. I really don't think it's good.